But what do you think when somebody makes, um, um, I'm going to say more than the average number of records requests, and the town calls them a racketeer or a criminal?
What do I think about that?
Yeah,
I just said it. I think it's nonsensical. I mean, it's. I think it's unethical to do that. As you know, I make lots of public records requests. This is an area that I'm very sensitive to, and I work almost exclusively with poor minority communities. And for poor minority folks, very often they are disproportionately find themselves in the legal system. They're, in my estimation, unfairly targeted by law enforcement. They're unfairly, disproportionately prosecuted. And very often, access to public records is one of the only meaningful ways they have to defend themselves. It's also the most effective way for citizens to monitor the conduct of government. That's the reason it's a constitutionally protected right. If when a government official or anyone acting on behalf of the government agency wants to go after somebody for making a public records request, I take great offense at that. I think it's unethical to do that. I think it's unlawful to do that. I think it's inconsistent with the wishes and the will of the public. It's inconsistent with the state constitution. It's ill-advised. I mean, politically, it's not good. We've had recently in the last legislative session they do this on a pretty regular basis. The state legislature tries to whittle away at the Public Records Act. This last legislative session, they just tried to gut it. That's ill-advised. What that does is it promotes fraud and corruption. And what a lot of people don't understand is that this is a very serious public safety issue because so much of our public services are now delegated to private contractors. There's very, very, very little oversight. I would say in many instances, there's no oversight whatsoever. And very often, and I can document these instances, some of them, it's willful on the part of state agencies. They don't care what the state contractors are doing. And very often, those are services that are rendered to very vulnerable populations. For example, children who are in the care of the Department of Juvenile Justice, who has now privatized every single, or virtually every, residential care facility that they have. These children's prisons are operated by private companies. There is very little meaningful oversight. Children's lives are at stake. The same thing is true with our adult correctional programs. This is true with regard to Medicaid and Medicare. There's very little oversight, and the state legislature, and I think that I'll include Gulfstream in this because they are part of the Florida League of Cities. The Florida League of Cities and its membership have done a great disservice to the citizens of Florida because they've made it very, very difficult for there to be meaningful oversight by the public of what government does. So this is a really important issue, and when a town or any other public agency and their attorneys go after a citizen who is simply trying to get access to records that belong to the public, that's a big problem. I have a huge ethical problem with that, and I think there's a major legal problem with it.